those awkward few seconds.
Looks like we are live.
Welcome to the NEPA Scene Podcast, the only live streaming in-person arts and entertainment podcast covering northeastern Pennsylvania, offering a true alternative voice in local media. We're coming to you from the NEPA Scene studio underneath Center City Print in downtown Scranton. I'm Rich Howells, the founder and editor of NEPA Scene, and tonight we're here with Scranton hard rock band The Holtzmann Effect. We're premiering a new song called Tesseract with a video recorded at Novro Studios and talking about their upcoming debut full-length album, Hell, and the stories behind those songs, the journey to get here over the last 6 years, creating heavy yet accessible rock music, the making of Old Tree, last year's music video of the year at the Steamtown Music Awards, the release party at the V-Spot on Saturday, March 16th, and their Sherman Showcase show on Saturday, April 27th, and much more. So please join our conversation with your questions and comments down below. We'll get to those later on in the show. Before we dive in, I just want to thank our sponsor, Center City Print, who has provided this amazing studio space for us. Use promo code NEPA Scene in person or online at Center City Print for 10% off. Center City Print can bring your ideas to life in 3 locations: Scranton, Kingston, and Hazleton. These one-stop shops are locally owned and operated, offering high-quality printed products, copy and custom print services, and design solutions to help you, your small business, your nonprofit, your band, your photography, your art project, or any venture thrive. Visit them now at centercityprint.com and use promo code NEPA Scene online or in person for 10% off. See, and it's relevant to the conversation because you guys use Center City Print for your posters.
All the time. We got more to hang up for this one. I'm gonna go to advertise the show coming up.
I was going to say, I'll put it right up on the screen there.
There you go.
Coming up at the V-Spot in a couple weeks.
That's going to be a fun one.
So we first did this 5 years ago when you guys kind of first started out in the early stages, and there was a different lineup, so I feel like we should maybe start over from the beginning. What got you guys interested in music originally? What made you pick up an instrument?
You want to go one by one, or?
Yeah.
Great.
Okay. So my father was a guitar player, and he always wanted me to play guitar. Hey, come here, I'll show you a G chord, I'll do this, and I had no interest. Gotta go play video games, ride bikes. And then he died. And so when he did, I got his guitar, and I just started playing as some weird, apology. And so I'm going to sit down and I'm going to learn Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and I'm going to learn all these little things. I hated it. And then eventually I said that to someone in my high school. I was like, bro, you're playing guitar? I wish you could electric guitars and start a band. I was like, okay. And then we both went home to our moms and they said, okay, for whatever reason. And then we both were sitting there playing Enter Sandman terribly. Oh. And we're like, oh, one of us should play bass. And I go, I guess I will. I went home, Mom, I need a bass. She's like, okay. And so then I got a bass, and then it's the second I got a bass, it stopped being this weird debt owed, and it started being for me. And then now it's just, now I'm here, 20-something years later.
Beat that super sweet story.
When I was very young, my mother also passed. She passed away. I think I was 11 or 12, and I got my hands on her CDs, and she had CDs like AC/DC Back in Black and Cher, and it really breaking into, that was around the time I really started putting a CD into a CD player and listening to music. And then years down the road, I got so inspired by a lot of different, 90s grunge was really what kind of pulled me into music further, and I wanted to play guitar. And when I was a kid, I didn't know how to play. I'd be playing air guitar in my living room and stuff. And when I finally got a guitar, just started learning how to play it, and then I did a garage band. We did one barbecue, immediately retired. And then
as one does.
Yeah. I grew up with a bunch of kids that did the same thing, and they all picked up instruments to learn how to play, and it was a lot of fun. And then went to the Navy, came out of the Navy, and then I was told that I have potential to be more, so I stepped up and I started singing in cover bands, and then the cover bands essentially led to this project. So yeah.
Dead relatives, Ty?
Nope, got both of my parents still. So when I was a kid, probably 9 or 10 years old, we had DirecTV, and my dad was flipping through the channels, and he came across a live Sammy Hagar concert. And I was like sitting right in front of the TV, and his guitar player was like ripping a huge lead. This is where it's gonna get kind of funny. Sammy Hagar's live show involves girls in bikinis pouring drinks the whole time.
Sure.
And I saw that, and I'm like, that is the coolest thing I think I've ever seen in my life. And so I begged my dad to like get me a guitar, and he took to it pretty quickly, and he knew famous local musician Dave Maciak, and purchased my first guitar from him. And from there I started taking lessons, and I still take lessons to this day from Neil Nicastro, and led to playing in a bunch of different bands, and then getting kind of serious in my college years playing guitar in bands, and then working at Northeast Music Center, I walked in and Grant said, hey, this band, the Holtzmann Effect's looking for a new guitar player, you should try out. And that's how I got hooked up. So before Grant was even in the band, he got me this gig.
Yep.
Circle of life.
By the way, never had a girl in a bikini serve me a drink whilst playing. Not that that's a big deal anymore. It's gotten a lot further than that. But the dream as a young man has never been realized.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's remain optimistic. So how did the Holtzmann Effect kind of form, and then these guys kind of come in into how you guys are now?
So we were in a band called Drive, which is a cover band with a bunch of friends like Cody and myself, and I auditioned to sing in that band with those guys for a while, and Cody was playing electric guitar for that band, and then it kind of grew to a point where I showed some original music that I had to those guys, and they were very inspired by it. So we decided to sit in my living room and try and just comb out some songs, and then it kind of grew into that. So we actually did our first gig for your open mic at the V Spot.
That's right. Yeah.
Many years ago,
Yeah.
and that was like kind of our breakout point for the Holtzmann Effect, and it just kept going from there. We opened for. We had a lot of momentum building before COVID hit, obviously, but like we were open for bands like Adelita Sway, From Ashes to New, Tantric. It was, it's so funny how it started out in the living room, just playing something I had on a dusty old shelf, and then we ended up on stage with it, and it was really cool. But yeah, it started out from just a couple friends we got together and just hashed it out, and then down the road we obviously obtained Tyler, and then we got Grant, and then now we're like this fierce. This fierce energy. So it's awesome. I couldn't be more thankful for the guys that I have today.
So when you go back and listen to that first EP, is it Samuda?
Samuda, yeah.
What comes to mind now?
As to what?
Just like how you look back at it, how do you feel about it? How do you think it compares to what you're doing now? Do you feel like it's one of those things where some musicians I know don't like to listen to their own music, and other ones maybe listen to it too much. There's definitely the extremes.
It's funny because listening to Samuda, Old Tree, obviously, but like when you go further back in time to your younger self, I can see myself still learning how to express myself in song, how to share my experiences and my stories in a song, and I never honestly, like, I grew up, I never thought I was going to be a vocalist. I always wanted to just be like a really badass rhythm guitarist. That was basically it. That was my
You
my
are
high
one of
point.
those.
One of them pouring me drinks.
Yeah, just like that.
I've had guys like Cody Sibio tell me that, our drummer, tell me that, like, you are a kick-ass singer, you have the potential, you don't understand it, and like I've been trying to take that into it and trying to expand and learn how to tell my stories through song, and it's tough because like a lot of the songs, like Samuda was just a little bit of a lot of my history is dark. It's easier to write. I feel like it's easier to write sad and kind of like an impactful story that really kind of messed you up, and because like it's I guess a lot of that has happened throughout my life, and I've grown to. It's easier for me to write about that than it is to write about something that's like happy that's happened in my life.
Okay.
So, but like Samuna was like about my mother. It was about addiction. It was about friends and like around me that kind of went through a lot of similar cases of that, and so on and so forth. But yeah, it's just starting from one album to now, like. Just watching myself grow has been interesting. I learn a lot about myself as I release this music, and I'm like, wow, I can't believe I did that, and then I move forward. So,
So, and you mentioned a lot of your earlier songs always kind of reminded me of like a band out of the 90s.
Yeah.
And then having heard these songs that you just recorded in advance, Grant was kind enough to give me the new album to kind of listen to before the show.
Awesome.
I definitely hear some more modern influences in that.
Yes.
Can you talk about maybe the changing and evolution of your sound over the last 6 years or so?
I think that would have to do with the hands in the pit when it comes to writing the music. You guys can feel free to talk too if you want to. I don't want to talk over anything.
Well, I think that's just a natural progression of growing up. Like, when you start, I wasn't there for Samuda, but you're writing back on what has influenced you the longest. So if you go back in time, those are the bands that stuck around and that you were able to kind of put into your everyday vernacular. Sure. So then as you keep going, you discover new ones, and then you do that. And so they probably just naturally shift that way, whether you want them to or not. So that'd be my guess as to why it sounds more modern, is we're slowly catching up.
I think it's also partly, you listen back to those songs, or we play those songs live so much, and we want to try to outdo ourselves. So it's almost like a challenge without really coming out and saying it. Like, can I write a heavier riff? Can I write a better vocal melody? Can I have a better arrangement for a song that's not so cut and dry?
Yeah.
And then doing that in painless hours in the rehearsal room, hashing all this stuff out and playing the same riff over and over and over again to try to get an idea. And not only, you come up with an idea and you're like, it kind of reminds me too much of what we've already done. Let's tweak it a bit so that we can make it a little bit different. And probably to us, it feels like we're playing the same songs all the time. But, if you listen through, everything it has progressed in a positive way.
Definitely evolved. Absolutely.
Well, your last EP was released just last year, and you already have a whole new batch of songs with this album. Did you guys hit a stride, or what's going on there? With all these did it all come together at once, or?
Old Tree was a lot of stuff we were kind of sitting on for years that we kind of just took off, brushed off, and then once we got Grant into the mix, he put his 2 cents onto it, and then we went to Jail Studios and we hammered it out. And
I think a lot of Old Tree songs were stuff that we didn't cut for Samuda.
Yes, that's also true.
There was some material that the band had been sitting on even before I joined that needed to be completed or needed to be reworked a little bit and stuff like that. So the songs came quickly because the album was probably 60% written before we...
It was. Yeah, absolutely. And then this new one was just, I guess you can say it was excitement. Like, we had all these ideas individually, and we got to get into the room. We started practicing at Cody's house, and then it just we just sat there and kind of carved through it all and found really cool sounds, and we just, went forward from there. I already have new ideas for the next album. Like, I guess you could say I picked up a stride. Like, I'm excited. I want to keep pushing music and everything, so, but yeah.
Okay. How do you feel that Hell maybe stands out from, and I'm saying that right because it's only one L. It's H-E-L. So
right.
I'm saying, is it Hell? Or?
It is pronounced Hell.
Okay. How do you feel that maybe it stands out from everything that you've done before?
I think it's definitely a variety of sound in that album. It shows a difference from. I don't want to reveal too much because I want people.
Go ahead.
But
build the excitement.
Yeah.
There's a heavy side, there's a soft side, and it's really cool how different. I've always wanted to write an album like that, where front to back, and not to bash on Godsmack, but a lot of a lot of
There it
those.
goes.
Like an older Godsmack album, like I'll say Faceless for example. I used to love Faceless as a kid, their album, and but the only thing I really didn't like about it was like a lot of it really sounded the same from front to back, and I like that we were able to push past that and really write different sounds from beginning to end of the album.
Yeah.
So that's what I was excited about that.
I noticed too, the mix and everything. The vocals are really kind of crisp and prominent. In that, was that a conscious choice?
That's Eric Navrosky. Hamburg me to do better. So, yeah, it was definitely a shout out to Eric. But that was really cool. That was also another experience working for Novro Studios. So it was, he was really awesome, and the I've always wanted to push past it, like just become a better vocalist. I've never received or done like vocal lessons or anything like that, and Eric, being a vocalist himself, gave me his 2 cents and some notes on how to improve myself as a vocalist, and it was a huge help. So I definitely improved because of Eric. So yeah.
And I know you've done some studio work with other bands, and you've done your own solo stuff, and I'm sure you've done any outside of Holtzmann Effect.
No, any recording I've only done with Holtzmann Effect. Samuda was my first taste of being in the studio. I was a scared young child doing it. So by the time we get to the third release now, it was a lot easier to not get red light fever and stuff like that when you're recording, and not breathe a little bit easier, knowing, wait, I wrote this part, of course I know how to play it. And going back to Eric, he was a lot of fun to work with too, because you'd hit a part dead perfect and he would hit the space bar to loop it back. He's like, you got a better one in you. And I'm like, oh, I don't. I don't have a better one in me. That was it. He's like, yeah, you can do it again. So it was good to be challenged to be even better than what I thought I was recording this album. So it was a good experience overall.
Yeah.
What has it been like? You've had other, like I said, other band experiences and things like that. What is it like coming into this band, and how have you kind of adjusted into what you're doing now, and have you been enjoying the process of being able to record with these guys and everything?
No. No,
They're the worst.
I have several announcements.
Also, I quit.
This, what am I trying to say right now? I appreciate honesty. So just the fact that when we go into that studio, no one's trying to write lyrics or riffs like a tough guy. We're there for ourselves. And that sounds weird to say, that we're not there for an audience. We're not there to make something commercial. But like, to be there, and he has some shit that he has to say, and we have to be the vehicle in which he gives that out, is just something I really appreciate, that honesty, because that's tough. You can't just do that in a room with 4 other dudes and then one guy who you thought you were pouring out your best stuff, and he goes, sucks, do another one. And you have to realize that he is on your side, and that you all have one common goal. So the creative process has been fantastic.
So you want to get right into the tracks themselves?
Let's do it.
Sure.
All right. So we have a little segment called The Breakdown, where we go track by track on artist's latest release to hear the inspiration and stories behind each song. So this can be about the lyrics, the composition, the recording, all of it. Whatever you want to share, you think is the most interesting aspect about it, you let us know. So Hell is set for release on March 16th. Mm-hmm. Let's get into it. The first track is Offering.
Offering. So I don't want to turn this place into a therapy session.
No, you absolutely can't. People love that. That's
Holtzmann After Dark.
The more honesty, the better. That's what I think people really appreciate.
So, after my mom died, it was really hard to express myself as a human being. I inherited a gene from my family to bottle up my emotions and not express myself. It was a tough ride in a lot of cases, and I've been bullied. I was an overweight kid, and I was picked on by friends, and even throughout my life, just my personality, I was picked on for that as well. I was picked on even through the Navy. So the thing this is where it gets dark. Like, I used to daydream about and this is a crazy imagination, but I used to daydream about being a monster that would be hunted by these bullies that would be like in a medieval time torches and pitchforks kind of scenario. So I wrote about what it would be like to be a monster that never wanted anything to do with harming anybody, just wanted to be left alone in the wilderness, but the torches and pitchforks always came to provoke. So then the monster finally snapped. And that's how I expressed that in the song, basically through the lyrics. It again, dark. But yeah.
For sure. Well, as someone who was relentlessly bullied in school, I can absolutely relate to that sort of feeling. And
the work behind the lyrics, the music itself, Grant was the one that actually initiated. He kicked it off with a really cool bass line that Tyler was like, what's that? And then we just kind of grew into that, and it became the song. And then I was so inspired by how complex the song felt dark to me, so I wanted to express myself into it after he wrote that bass line, and we just kind of, it grew into the offering. So, but it's a really cool song, and that sound is what Tyler was saying. Like, we evolved so much. We went from songs like Black Door and Samuda and Stage and stuff like that into the offering. Such a difference throughout the time, and it just,
for sure.
Yeah, it was just cool. So.
And so next up we have Scarecrow.
That was that was me goofing on like an Ozzy Osbourne style riff at practice one day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, keep going. And I'm like, I'm just being silly right now. And lyrically, I have no idea what you're singing about. But I know that it started off as me trying to be like 80s guitar player. And then we added that part that totally differentiates for the heavier part.
The chorus?
I guess that's the chorus. I don't think of it as a chorus, but yeah, I guess it
What's
is.
the chorus?
Oh, I can't say it on the air here.
Why not?
Grant? I want it to be a surprise for the folks.
We don't. We're promoting. Sing it. Go.
No. Beef,
Next
what are you
3 minutes.
singing about in Scarecrow?
Scarecrow is another kind of like someone being tricked to do something that they don't want to.
He just got done watching Batman Beyond.
There it is.
Okay.
There it is.
Or
No.
Batman Begins.
Okay.
So being the, I'm not quite sure why I did it this way. I just kind of, I went with it, and to me, it could feel different to someone else, of course, but like to me, it just felt like being fooled and being a scarecrow, being set up to protect something that you're not supposed to protect, and then the crows end up coming after you. So, I mean, damn, it's almost like a bully scenario, but it's not. So, but like it just, you'd have to go through the lyrics to truly understand and see. I don't know. I'm falling off a cliff here. I'm not sure how to explain that one. But
The best way I can put it, musically, you never see it coming.
that's the lyrics of the song. But yeah, that's about it. And it was cool because like that really does have that like Black Sabbath-y, Ozzy Osbourne kind of feel to me. I like that song a lot.
All right, next up we have Dark Horse, which I think kind of had its message seemed to be kind of more right out there, like a little bit more.
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily spelled out, but definitely like more prominent.
So, I know people that have committed suicide, people close, and I've known friends of people. I mean, everyone does, and I always wanted to write a song to express suicide awareness. I hit a point in my life that it was a pretty, not so much that I did it, but the thoughts about it wouldn't escape. And it was a dark time. I'm obviously moved on from it. I'm a lot better now, even though no one has to worry. But like, I've experienced suicide, and I wanted to write a song to show people that don't understand it, the trouble that people that are alone and like have those thoughts, to understand what's going through them, and like they need help. And sometimes people you don't even realize aren't looking for the help, but they're on that path. And you gotta do the best you can to raise suicide awareness, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to truly show people the really like the awful side of it. I wanted people to see it and make them aware that there are people out there that I say people. I'm kind of running around, but to help people avoid suicide, obviously. So more or less, yeah. And that riff was actually a riff I wrote, and I had it on a back burner for years. And our friend Will Perna was playing around with his computer, and he asked me to come over and just lay out some songs so he can experiment and improve as a sound engineer. And I laid that song out, and he was like, dude. And then, but I put it on a shelf until he found it, and he's like, dude. Why is this? He's like, why is this here? Yeah. So we pulled it out because it was just an acoustic in my voice. That's all it was. And once we brought it forward for these guys to touch it, it really turned into something like awesome. So we wrote it out really nice, and then decided to throw it on Hell.
There's a few songs on this album that actually Beef had done as like an acoustic demo thing that I think originally you were planning on just kind of putting out as like a solo, like here's a couple songs I had that it should go out, and Grant got him wise to that, being like, do you understand?
Hey, you have a band.
The power that these songs hold, and if we really took our time and really, no pun intended, beefed them up.
If only you had musicians, it would help you write this shit.
So I was very narrow-minded because I thought Holtzmann had a sound. And these songs that I wrote weren't that sound. So I wanted to I wanted to work on these songs and release them and reveal another side of my music. But Grant's like, Holtzmann can be whatever the hell it wants to be. It doesn't have to just be one sound. Holtzmann is you. It's everybody.
Once you write it, it's Holtzmann.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. So he pulled me off of that, and he's just like, come on, snap out of it. And then we took the songs and then we released. We went forward with my solo stuff as well. So Breakaway was a song that released kind of between albums, and that was cool. That was a song that I wrote that we ended up pushing into the mix, and that song was basically my COVID song.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody has one.
Yeah.
Everybody has one.
Yeah.
Spider-Man swoops in. Everybody gets one. Freak is up next. Speaking of those riffs.
Freak, lyrically, is kind of an explanation on how it's okay to be weird.
Sorry. Very disrespectful.
No, absolutely. It's basically, if you're different, it's okay to be different, you know, and that kind of goes back to me being bullied. I wasn't really normal. I didn't feel like the general crowd. I felt like I was different, and sometimes I got shamed for that. And freak was a way to express that, like, hey, it's okay to be a freak. You know, if there's something weird about you, own it.
Yeah.
You know, step up. If it's who you are, you should own it and keep going forward. And that's why I kind of wrote Freak. It's just kind of like to just express yourself. Be you. You don't have to be the general crowd. So
I believe it was also the first full song written for the album.
It was.
That was the first one we sat down and said, we got to come up with some new stuff.
I am amazed how little I remember about this writing process.
Yeah.
That's why you got me, Grant.
No,
I'll be the band.
You're my
archivist.
handler. You're just walking me around. Don't wander into that store, son. Let's tie.
That's what I enjoy about being a part of the local art scene too, is hang out with all those types of people that most of the general populace would have picked on in school, would have said
the freaks, Rich, just say
weirdos, that type of stuff. Like, I love that, because those people, they think differently, they think outside the box, and they're always more accepting. That you can come into, you can come in with an idea and not have people look at you sideways.
Yeah,
they go, oh wow, that's interesting. How do I make that? How do I help you make that a reality?
Right. They won't tell you why you shouldn't.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Yeah, it's very interesting working at Northeast Music Center. I get every type of customer you can imagine, and the people you would think are the normal people of society that come in and stuff like that sometimes give you a harder time, and the people that that Beef would consider a freak. I'm just playing.
You're gonna get me canceled.
It's interesting to see that the people that are more outgoing about expressing themselves are usually a lot more kinder.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess it would be the polite way to say that.
Well, they have a better understanding of like what's going on up there.
Yeah.
'Cause
They probably see me like, look at this guy with his hair
look at this
slicked to the
normie.
side.
Well, you think about it, people that are normal, or at least appear to be normal, that's all they worry about. That's all they focus on. They want to be normal. That's the only thing that they think about. But someone that not and is a freak, they have the space. I'm not trying to make it seem like it's a bad thing. Everyone keeps laughing at me. But like...
We need more material for the next album, so that's why we're doing this.
This is just for the next song. We have to bully you.
These people that like they don't need to think about that. They have the freedom to do what they want, and they have the freedom. Like that's just stop laughing at me.
I didn't.
I'm gonna write another song.
Good.
So help me God.
Nothing rhymes with Grant.
Fantastic.
Anyway,
All right, so next up we have Don't You See?
Don't You See is kind of a reference towards drug addiction. I've written quite a few songs actually about drug addiction, and but it's kind of just I have an addiction to like nicotine, which is obviously not heroin, but I just want to, again, it's almost like suicide awareness, just to kind of like express the worry about it, express the people to trying to stay away from it, try to fight it. And that was a way for me to express it, basically, you know. I called it Candy in the song. So I wanted to, it was kind of my reference to it. I just wanted to make it aware that, like, you know, drugs are bad, okay? So, like,
Don't You See was also another shelved song that
Yes.
Grant had to yank out of you.
That was another one of
doing?
those like, how long, Beef? How long have you kept this from us?
This riff was something that I wrote and actually introduced to Jason Macheska first, and we wrote this weird little cool off-road background music thing. We were gonna do like a video of like our off-road vehicles, and this is the first time he's hearing this. This was actually a background for one of the things.
Slow motion mud splash, bro.
But it sat, and like we didn't end up doing anything with it. So when Grant again saw it, he's like, we need to use this, bro. And then we did. So we took it out. So we took it out, we brushed the rust off, and we wrote a really cool song about it.
To be fair, growing up playing games like ATV Off-Road Fury and stuff like that, if one of our songs got in one of those games, I'd be pretty stoked. So,
yeah.
Game developers, if you hear Don't You See, we're a phone call away.
Oh, man.
I'm learning a lot about myself tonight, Rich.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
And about these gentlemen that
Yes.
You okay?
probably
We'll talk about
you're
it.
sitting closer to than you ever have.
Ever.
Boy, we are so conveniently close to a back alley at nighttime. We get out of here.
I'm a danger.
All right, so we have Colorful Flame.
Colorful Flame is about a friend, and I don't want to go deep and really reveal names, obviously, but it's about a friend that they don't believe in themselves, and they're fighting depression because of it. So it's not the first time I've seen someone go through that, and I've gone through a little bit of that myself, but depression is very real. It's not something to be played around with. Depression can lead to much darker things if not taken care of. But it was about me or someone else trying to inspire, to be insightful, to be there for them, to help them uplift, and just kind of grow into someone better than like what they're going through, trying to like not like take the good with the bad and not sit there and just stew on the bad and get sadder and more depressed because of it, you know, and try to, you know, go up. And that's basically what that song's about. Just trying to help someone through it. I think that's probably the happiest song I've ever written. But yeah, and that's another song that I had on the shelf. That there's quite a few of those, but like that was one that I played.
Are there more?
I played. There probably are. I probably.
Find out March 16th. March 16th, you will find.
That's another song that I played for Will, and Will was like, dude, and then Grant was like, dude, and then the band was like, dude, and then we ended up making it to the hell album. So
Musically, in the overall vibe of that one, that's the one I could see. Hopefully, if it catches some attention, and who knows if people listen to the album before our show when we release it. Hopefully, they're singing the lyrics back to us during the chorus.
for sure.
Because that's definitely the more anthem-y song that we have. You know, Beef.
What?
I'm talking to you. You're just staring straight
I
into the
straight up
camera.
just spaced out right now.
Yeah.
I'm so
Yeah, I
sorry.
really think that one's gonna be our big anthem. Huh?
Yeah, I'm sorry. That happened live, and I'm sorry. I spaced out. It happens. That happens.
I think
sometimes.
Beef wrote this song about himself.
I did not. I didn't write this one about me. Honestly, I wrote this about someone really close to me. So I just wanted to express. I don't want to really reveal.
But you
names.
don't have to.
Okay. I just want to. I want to make people aware. Like
Jeremy
that's-
Davis,
it's my
112 Main Street.
I've realized that my mission as a writer is to help people realize that they're not alone, help people understand themselves if they can through my music, and obviously if they enjoy the music, that too. But like I'm on a mission, you know. I want to help people be better. So
Next up, we have Hunger.
180. This is
The song's not about helping people at all.
The song is about skateboarding.
Yeah.
A song about really wanting a sandwich.
I'll
no,
write that right now.
no. This is me being mad and just kind of just expressing dark thoughts.
Beef Smash.
Beef Smash. That's exactly. If I was to rename that song, it should have been Beef Smash. But that was just to express my I've had enough of your shit to like other people. You know, that just won't lift the thumb off you. You know, and it really reveals. To be completely honest, I really like serial killers. And I've been, me and my girlfriend are very inspired by watching. We're one of those couples that'll sit and we'll just watch the darkest goddamn documentaries that there are out there.
Right. And so you're interested in them. You're not approving.
No.
All right. Just to make that
am
clear.
never. I'm not a serial killer. Don't ever plan on being one. But I'm very.
If you own a PR firm, we're seeking.
I'm very inspired by. It's crazy how different a serial killer thinks. So this guy, he just laughed through.
I just admire their techniques.
Man, this is coming out wrong. So
I would never paint, but Bob Ross's brushstrokes.
I expressed.
Sorry.
What would it be like if a serial killer? What would it be like to be in the mind of a serial killer? What would it be like to be someone and then have a dark past, or just kind of like, I'm gonna take over now and go from there? So like that was Hunger to me. I ended up writing Hunger out of that experience of just that, you know. But I am not a serial killer. I want everyone to know that. He's sitting farther.
That's right. There's other bands that have songs in similar vein. He's not the only one.
So I'm not a normal person. I think about weird shit. I'm sure you figured that out by now if you're watching this, but I think about shit.
What's
all the
next,
time.
Rich?
Musically, Hunter, maybe we can get to something a little bit better. I think it was agreed when we were listening back in the studio that the chorus and the overall feel of that song was the best riff Holtzmann Effect had.
Really?
At the time. Yeah.
Okay.
We discussed this.
We did discuss this. Yeah. Where do we go
Again,
from there?
if you own a PR firm, we're actively seeking help.
Oh man.
Well, we got a couple more. We have Operator, which is out. People can stream that now.
Yes,
Yes.
YouTube.
And to everybody that has listened to it, thank you so much. I've gotten so much nice feedback from a lot of people, a lot of friends, a lot of people that I've never spoken to in person, but know through other bands and stuff like that have reached out to us to say how great of a song it was. And in the back of my mind, I'm going, I know, because I've been telling Beef we should really record this song for the last 2 albums or 3 albums, and I don't know. It always, I think we would always try to overthink it, and I said we need to just record it how we perform it, because we have been performing the song live for a number of years now, and we, went in and recorded it as we always seem to play it live, and it came out exactly how I envisioned it. So I was thrilled about that song coming out finally, and so far it's probably been my proudest release as a member of the band.
Operator has honestly been around since Muda. Operator was around the beginning of the Holtzmann Effect. It was
one of the songs I learned when I joined. You guys had to teach me it.
It was one of the first songs we wrote and never released. I don't understand why we didn't. We just always, it was one of that song that just never made the cut. We put it on the shelf every time.
Who's we?
Thank
you.
Yeah.
Hey, I petitioned every chance I got.
So, Operator, Cody is a veteran. I am also a veteran. And Operator was kind of an explanation. Before I joined the Navy, I was a pothead that worked 2 jobs, was too scared to go to college because I didn't think I can afford it, and I was on a path to nowhere. I dated a girlfriend at the time that had her path completely laid out. She was going to Pitt. She was going to be successful. She had the support from her parents, the whole 9 yards. I was extremely jealous of that and lost. I didn't know what the hell to do with myself. So I had a cousin of mine that all I really cared about was to gain my recruitment so he can make rank, which he did. So I got sucked. As soon as I got put in a recruiting office as a lost soul, they're like, we love lost souls. So they took me right in. 2 weeks later from that day, I was recruited right to Chicago boot camp, and that was it. And I was in the Navy for 4 years, and it was kind of my experience of being cleansed. Boot camp was being cleansed. The ship that I was attached to was kind of like me being strapped to the machine. I was sent to my orders to be on the ship. I did 2 deployments, and it was kind of explain my side of being active duty, going on deployment. That was my take on it. But obviously, every veteran has their own experience. I can't compare myself to a guy that's busting down doors in Afghanistan, obviously. But it was just my say on it, so I wrote Operator. And when I wrote it, it was a really cool song. But again, it never made the cut. It sat for years until these guys came in, and we kind of enhanced it. We ended up kind of making it a lot better. He wrote this kick-ass guitar solo, and then we killed it. So really good.
I also learned recently that late folk singer Jim Croce wrote a song called Operator about being in the military and calling home to his girlfriend at the time.
Fuck!
Yeah. Totally different song, totally different feel.
We're pulling Operator. If you guys heard it, don't hear it.
Instagram reveals everything.
Back on the shelf.
You're a law firm.
Anyway,
this one's for you, Jim.
so that's Operator.
All right, so we end off with "I Don't Mind," which is kind of like an acoustic sort of track.
Yeah, I Don't Mind was a song I wrote years ago that I never played for anybody, and I was friend zoned. I don't know if you were ever friend zoned.
Not once.
It happened to me. I grew up with a girl. She was one of my best friends, and I had a lot of feelings for her. I really cared about her, but our lives were parallel. She was always doing one thing, I was always doing another, but I always stayed in there. I stayed in contact with her. I talked to her all the time. So it turned into a kind of a broken record where I would try to build myself up to reveal my feelings to her, but she was already on to the next relationship, and then so on and so forth. That happened for years, and then it kind of got to the point where she was with a guy far away. Something happened. They broke up. I got out of the Navy. I tried to maintain that connection. She got really close to me. When we came to having conversations and talking, she was coming back home, but she already had another guy lined up, and I was like, I have to stop this. So I was like, I am done. I put it on the shelf. Put it on the shelf. But I just kind of that was my explanation of what I went through. Like, I had to put an end to it, and I did. I said what I said. I told her that, like, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to be a friend. I don't want to do anything like that. And she got mad at me because of it, so she walked away. It's in the song lyrics. So that's how I Don't Mind became a song. That was just, that was my friend zone song. I'm sure every guy that writes songs has one, so that was mine.
It's the first one they write, I'm sure.
So, but yeah, I don't mind.
Musically, I think a lot of people that know us and know our style and everything are going to be very surprised by what they hear, hopefully in a positive way.
Yeah.
I'll loosely use the term ballad. But
Okay, I'm all about it.
Yeah. Everybody needs one ballad. Going back to Spider-Man, everybody gets one.
Everybody gets one.
I can think of countless bands that had a ballad, whether they were hits or not.
And growing up too, I listened to a lot of heavy music, and there was always usually at least one track on every album that was like an acoustic song that was like, I don't know if that was just a way of like them showing, hey, look, we could do this kind of thing too, or an attempt to like, hey, look, play us on the radio. Look, we got a radio song for you. Whatever the case may be, a lot of those bands when I was growing up always had that one acoustic song on that. So it reminded me of that, and I always enjoyed that. I always liked that aspect of it, to like show another side and be able to, be unafraid to do something a little different on the album. So that's a really cool one to have on there.
Cool. There's actually, I don't know if we're allowed to say there's a music video for it.
Absolutely not. Yeah, we are. There's
There
a
will be
music
a music video
coming
coming
soon.
out for it.
Yeah.
Should we reveal the album art?
Sure.
Yeah.
Then Grant could kind of explain the
Yeah, why there's
story.
only one L.
Yeah, so I'll put it right up on the screen here. This is the cover of Hell. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
So I'm really horny for Norse mythology. So Hel was the daughter of Loki, who was given basically her own realm, Helheim. And if you died in battle, you went to Valhalla. If you died during a podcast, you went to hell. But it wasn't hell in like the Christian sense of hell where you're being punished for anything. It's just this, but forever.
Okay.
So you're just kind of wandering forever, and Hel was the leader of that place. And she was, half of her body was dead, half of her body was alive. And I thought that was a really good contrast in regards to the lyrics that he was doing to the struggle of all the negative, but also the positive. You've got blatant, hunger and freak, but then you have colorful flame where you're trying to uplift someone. You have dark horse where you're trying to prevent the darkness coming out of somebody. So it was both of these dark and light things that made this entity, and I thought Hel represented that pretty well. And as I said, just raging hard on for anything Norse. So any opportunity to put it out there.
Put it out there.
Yeah.
Sure.
Our next one's going to be called Jormungandr. I'll talk about that later. 5 more years, Rich. I'll be happy to tell you about the world serpent.
Hopefully God of War hires us.
I know. God. Couldn't tell you. First time I threw the axe at him and he looked at me, fuck. I'll derail this whole podcast, Rich.
I'm all about it. Buckle up.
Raging hard on, releasing the serpent.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I see where we're going here.
It's all
Yeah.
undertones.
So the cover art is really, really cool. Is that all makeup effects?
Yes.
Practical effects.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have a makeup artist who is our go-to, Shanice Waddell, who
Hi, Shanice.
she did Old Tree, which we're going to talk about later. But she came in and did all of that on. That's my wife on the front. So
Hi, Abby.
just any possible idea that we have involving that type of thing, we call her before the idea is even fleshed out. Hey, could you do this? Yes. It's always yes. And then we'll evolve it from there. So that's when I thought, how do we represent half dead, half alive?
Right.
Yeah, she was obviously the go-to.
Yeah, no, that's pretty impressive.
We love Shanice.
Because it could easily, you could sit there and do that on a computer, and it just does not have the same effect.
You have to look up her page. The stuff she does is unreal.
Yeah, like she'll just post
Unreal.
Instagram reels and she's a fish.
Oh.
She's just a straight up legitimate fish.
It's like something out of a movie. It
Yeah.
really is.
There's times I
Like,
forget I
it's-
follow Shanice on social media and I'll be scrolling through them like, what in the world is that?
Fish!
Like,
And then she does like her normal face reveal. I'm like, oh, it's Shanice. Shanice.
Well, I mean, since we're talking about that, I guess we should talk about the Old Tree music video. So
Okay.
you guys still do music videos, which is great because
Oh,
there's
yeah.
so many bands that have kind of just don't really bother with that kind of stuff anymore. And you guys, I think, have a really nice collection of stuff. All of it's different. All of it, you're trying different things. And with Old Tree, you guys won Music Video of the Year last year at the Steamtown Music Awards, which I called it in a red carpet interview. I called it that was going to happen because there was no touching that. Like just how well done that video was. So can
That
you
guy.
talk about? I know we talked about this on the red carpet, but for maybe those who didn't see that. Can we talk a little bit about where the concept for that came from and how you guys were able to execute that?
So we had done a lyric video prior to that, so I still had lyric videos in mind. So I was just, how can we do lyrics on Old Tree? How do you marriage Old Tree and lyric? So it initially just started as, I'll just go out into the woods, find some sticks, and I'll saw lyrics into it, and then that'll be the whole thing.
Okay.
And then as I was fleshing out the idea, I was like, what if there was something out there making it? What if there was a thing carving these lyrics, like, and you can witness it doing that stuff? And then as that grew, we have Shanice. So I'm like, Shanice, can you make a tree monster? And she's like, yeah. And so it eventually I don't even know if you can call it a lyric video, despite how the lyrics are always there.
Right.
I had always pictured this thing being in the background. And then once she made it, and we got Novro to shoot it, they were basically like, yeah, no, you walk up to this camera right this second. Are you out of your fucking mind? And so we made it more of a forefront. We made it more of a visual thing, especially for the like the parts where there are no lyrics.
Yeah.
You needed that. So that was...
So I have some screenshots from that from people who haven't seen it yet.
Sure.
So that is for those watching at home here. That is Grant in
Hi.
that crazy outfit.
Yeah.
That's a conversation we have often at shows. Who was the tree guy? And we'll point to Grant and they'll be like, no.
It literally happened at the Ritz. When we
Yeah.
played the Ritz.
Okay.
Yeah, who's the tree guy? We pointed at, no, what, oh my god! They put the pieces together. It's wild.
So there's the close up, so you can really get the detail there. Where did you guys shoot that?
That is in the woods. So that is just, there's a nice
Yes.
spot of woods near my house
Okay.
that we were able to go
Detail.
into and find enough fallen trees for me to carve into. And then, so it was a handsaw. That actually, I had this idea and I just needed the time to do it. And then I got COVID. So I was like, okay, I literally have to be isolated from my family for a week. I'm going to the woods.
So you became
Yes.
this tree monster.
Yeah. So I'll just go out with I had a little handsaw. It was like that big. And I had a little can of Lowe's red wood dye, like
Okay.
wood stain. So I'd go out and and then I would lay down because I was so exhausted from COVID. And then I would get up and I would paint the words. And then I'd go find another fallen stick. And then that was it. That was how I spent 3 straight days basically living in the woods, carving out this thing. So the nice part about getting infected with COVID was when Novro showed up, hey, where's all your stuff? Right here. I've marked everything with little flags. I know exactly where we're going. I thought of this 400 fucking times because I had nothing else to do. So we're going to go over here and do this. And so it was all the speed. How fast did we shoot that? That was under a day.
Wow.
I want
That
to
was
say
in
that was
one
under
day,
4
yeah.
Probably
hours.
4 hours. Honestly.
Yeah.
Shit.
So, because it was just, here's where the first lyric is this, it's over here on this, and the second lyric is over here. That's station 2B. And then we go over here, and then I'm going to climb this tree, and we're going to be here because I've thought of this 100 fucking times. Because what else am I going to do?
I was there to witness it. It was very, very cool to watch.
I personally am very excited for if Grant ever moves and someone moves into his house and people go back into the woods
Go
to see what
find the
that's
woods.
all about.
Yeah,
Just
they're all still
find
there.
these lyrics.
You could just go back if you.
You
find
tell me
that
they're not
stretch of
going to
woods.
absolutely crap their pants thinking like, what is going on here?
One
So
day
far,
a hunter is going to go viral.
no police reports have been filed.
My tree says blood. I don't know why.
Chasing Sasquatch is going to come. You're going to be like, there's definitely something out here. We're here in Scott, Pennsylvania. We know we got a squatch.
And he's a mean one.
Apparently has some family issues. We want to get to know this guy a little bit better.
Oh God, that's fucking great.
So, speaking of videos, we actually have a video to premiere tonight. So I think we've taken up enough your time that we should definitely play the video for those who are waiting on that part or read that in the description, like, they play this video or what? So what's cool about this is a standalone single, Tesseract, and is not on the album. So this doesn't give really too much away about what's coming up. Mm-hmm. But this was at Novro Studios.
Yes. Shot live.
Shot live.
So this is a live recording.
All right. Well, let's. We're gonna go to that, and we'll see you back here as soon as it's done, and then we'll get to your questions and comments. So if you're leaving them down below, we'll get to those, and if you want to comment on the video, make sure you do that now.
audio and video release.
It was a cool experience because his wife filmed it and everything, and she's phenomenal.
Yeah, Sarah rules.
Yeah.
Sarah shot Old Tree.
She did Old Tree. She did my Breakaway music video.
Human.
She did Human.
Yeah, so basically, the way we feel about Shanice with makeup is how we feel about Sarah Navraski with video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's the go-to.
And we're back, so she definitely killed it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Shout out to Sarah Navraski. You rule.
So, you know, one of the things too, listening back to all this music, it makes me, think a lot how the narrative in the music industry and music press and everything like that is this, rock is dead and, hasn't topped the charts in years. But then I see all these packed and sold out shows and these big festivals that are selling out like crazy with all these big rock and metal acts. And I feel like the audience is still there and really hasn't necessarily gone away. It's just that maybe the way that we measure success, particularly in the mainstream, is different and has changed and maybe has not caught up to where we're putting things, with charts and all that kind of stuff. Using charts and plays and radio in an age where music is kind of discovered or consumed in many different ways. How do you guys feel about putting out, straight rock music in 2024?
Who wants to go first?
I mean, like, in terms of something is dead, it's what's your ruler for success. So, like, I would very much consider the Ritz Theater show we all played to be a success for every band being a part of it.
Right.
You could absolutely argue with spreadsheets, and if you're the head of Sony Records, that it wasn't compared to Taylor Swift, and yeah, you're right. But depending on what you deem as alive, I have not noticed dead in any. Look at Sleep Token blowing up.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, is that dead?
Yeah.
Is it because you could argue that is a heavily Deftones influence, and you could lump Deftones in with the nu metal genre, and that's way in the past. So I don't know. It's just like what you like.
But the kids love Deftones now. Like,
Yeah.
Deftones is seen just through like TikTok of all things.
But that's what
they're discovering them like they're brand new.
Whatever the source is that's telling you that they're the authority on its health. Why? What are you trying to tell me? What measurements are you using? So I wouldn't look too far into something's dead.
Right.
Nothing can never be dead.
And,
I guarantee there's polka bands killing it right now.
especially the home of polka music right here in Scranton,
Yeah, that's
Pennsylvania.
right.
Genuinely.
But like, it's very interesting to see how social media has such an influence on what people like and don't like, because so many bands that we grew up listening to are like red hot again. I mean, Creed reformed
Well,
to go on tour.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Yep.
all the guys in Creed doing the Alter Bridge thing, they were doing just fine with Alter Bridge, and it's like Creed really didn't need to reunite. It's not like, they were keeping plenty busy, and just it got so popular, it made total sense for them, and now they have two tours coming up this year, a summer and a winter tour that every show is close to, if not sold out.
Right.
And it's great to see, because when I was in school, if you liked Creed, if you liked a lot of bands similar to them, you would definitely get picked on. Mm-hmm. It's just it was just the thing to pick on at the time.
But like even that, as a measure of like everyone points to Creed as this low hanging fruit of a punchline, but
The
Human
songs
Clay
are
sold
good.
2 billion albums and no one owns them.
Yeah.
Right.
Like the
Exactly.
songs are there. The
Yeah.
songs are good. The songwriting is good. Like I think it was just the like Grant said, the low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
And it was just easy to pick on because, it's a very distinct style of music, and Scott Stapp would sing a very specific way. And, why did Scott Stapp get beat up, but Eddie Vedder got a pass, and Pearl Jam's this iconic band? I mean,
Yeah.
they sing very similarly.
But even like just
And it's-
no one watching right now owns a Nickelback album, not one.
Right. I'm sure there's plenty.
Plenty. They've got literal numbers.
I've been to white elephant gift exchanges where, like, the joke was, bring a funny gift, and someone brought a Nickelback
And it's
CD.
funny because you already owned it.
Yeah. It's like, I don't need this.
I don't need it. I have it.
Yeah.
Well, I
We
mean,
all bought it.
Look at nu metal in general. Nu metal was the butt of every joke. When it came out, all of the critics hated it, the mainstream hated it, and those guys to this day are all selling out tours.
Yeah.
For sure.
They're all selling out arenas. They all keep and the one thing that they were accused of most was that, oh, this will be gone in a day. This will be gone in a year.
Any day now.
Here we are 20 some years later at this point.
Yeah, they're doing anniversary tours of their big albums.
Exactly, and they're bigger and bigger each time. And then they're also influencing everything else. See, like, you know, you can make fun of that stuff all you want, but that was the evolution of where metal needed to go at that time. You know, it needed something different.
Yeah.
It went that way. And then, you know, it's not like the old metal just went away. It's not like it killed any of that kind of stuff. It just made room for other sounds. And now I see new bands coming up like Spirit Box, where it's like they would have fit right in with that new metal sort of era. They have those same type of riffs and the same kind of, you know, melodic to heavy vocals and back and forth and stuff. And there's so many bands that are influenced by that. And it's so funny to think of that, like something I grew up with as a teenager now can influence stuff that's coming up now, like as if I don't need to feel any older than I already am.
Yeah. You
But,
just
you know,
gotta
it's
write.
awesome.
You just gotta write songs that you like yourself.
Yeah.
You don't have to sit down with a business plan because no one can be you. So whatever you make naturally, and this just goes back to like the solo stuff. Once you put it out, it's Holtzmann. Once you put it out, it's your band, and it doesn't matter what it is. The second you do it, it's you. And then if you do the next song, it's you. And then someone will praise you for whatever you're doing like no one else can do it.
Yeah. I've had people throughout the years like tell me, like, I don't know why you do it, because music is cutthroat anymore. It's discouraging. Like,
What isn't?
Your music, like, you're a speck of dust. I
Stop
don't.
talking to those people.
I don't.
No, we need more material.
No,
I don't care what they think, because I have done something that I have dreamed about doing from a trailer home in the middle of the woods. Like I've never thought that I would be on the Ritz playing stage, Sherman Theater, the Kirby Center, One Center stage. Like we did all those. I never thought in a million years that I would be able to do that, and we did it, and that's something I want to continue doing. I love being on a stage. As much as I get terrible stage fright and I struggle talking to people because I'm an introvert, but like I still love doing it. Being on a stage is such a thrill and a dream of mine, and I just and making music with these guys, it's awesome. So
Thanks, Beef.
hey, you're welcome.
Yeah, so how was the Escape the Fate show?
Awesome.
Fantastic.
From beginning to end, when we got there, they had crews there that worked within the place that like talked to us, kind of helped us, guide us through, set our stuff up, and the sound guy was incredible. It was really it felt really nice. You felt like a rock star.
Yeah.
You know, you weren't lugging your shit in. Like you're. It was like they had green rooms. They had the sound was great. It just all out was a great time. The other bands are amazing too.
that is not once were you spoken to like an opener.
Yes.
Okay.
Not once.
No.
And like the staff, the sound guy, the owners, everyone was happy you were there. What can we do? And just I hope it lasts forever. What a fantastic thing to have
That back in
manifest.
Scranton,
Oh my God.
that's going to bring... I think that reopening is really going to wake back up the Scranton music scene from kind of getting a little quiet throughout the COVID years and everything like that, with a lot of stages shutting down and stuff like that. I think having that asset down in downtown Scranton is not only going to bring some bigger names to the area where, you know, up-and-comers like us are going to have an opportunity to get in front of more people, but just to get more entertainment in general into the downtown Scranton area and a more diverse, you know, artists and stuff like that. And for them only being reopened for a few months now, I mean, everything went off without a hitch. It was an extremely professional operation, and everything was very, this is at this time, this is at this time, okay, you know, everything was so cut and dry. It was a perfect show.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could feel the passion for running the venue. Mm-hmm. Yeah. James Barrett is there at the end of the month.
Yeah, definitely good.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact date. This is
The
not a perfect
30th,
plug.
March 30th, I believe.
March
James Barrett was
30th,
there.
James Barrett at the Ritz.
Yeah, definitely support those local bands
Oh, yeah.
at this venue. not just the national acts that come through, because you recognize their name. You know, make sure that you check out everybody and you come early and you see those bands. And that's that's an opportunity that a lot of bands coming up now might not even remember that used to be a thing. When you went to shows at Montage, there used to be that stage right in the front there that sits empty for 99%. Well, Montage sits empty for 99% of the time, but the stage going into Montage, the radio stations and everything really used to go all out. And I'm not calling out the radio station. I'm not calling out Montage or anything. I think a lot of things went away with COVID, but even before that, there was definitely a decline in those opportunities for local artists to say, hey, look, I've opened for this national act or whatever. That's a big deal. Yeah. And it's a big deal to do, to play those stages in your hometown, to say that, hey, look, I got to play the biggest stage in my, in my area, or something that I, always dreamed, or something I saw a band, a band on that stage that changed my life, and now I got to play on that stage, like that sort of thing. But those opportunities are so important. And local venues have just not made that a thing for a long time. And I'm starting to see it come back now, finally. The Kirby Center is now kind of under new management. And for the last maybe almost a year, maybe even a year now at this point. And they've started to have a couple local openers before the main acts there, which I think is awesome, because I haven't seen that in a long time. And hopefully Montage will do that too and offer those opportunities. But to see the Ritz do that, I think is really awesome, because they are going to start, Josh has told me all these kinds of plans that they have and all this stuff that they have they can't announce yet, but, is coming or whatever. And it'd be a shame if the bands didn't get a chance to, show off in their own hometown. Right. So it's nice to see that those opportunities finally come back.
Yeah.
And also a big shout out to Vinny and the crew down at the V-Spot for always giving original music a chance to play on a good stage with a good sound system and a good light system.
Absolutely.
Give bands like us and other local bands an opportunity, and some bands from out of the area, to cut their teeth on a professional system.
Yeah,
that helps. Yeah, doing those shows helped tremendously with how we were able to perform and do our set at the Ritz and at other venues outside of the area too. Being able to get your footing on the stage and be able to know, if a technical difficulty happens, to just keep powering through it, and trust the staff to keep the train moving and stuff like that. So big shout out to Vinny and those guys for always making sure that original bands had an opportunity to work on their craft.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. They've invested, tens of thousands of dollars into a corner bar stage with professional lights, professional sound. It's crazy. I think people don't expect that coming in there for the first time. They don't realize. But yeah, and it's cool because there were places like Stage West that had popped up, and then when they went away, there wasn't really I think the V-Spot has been one of those venues that's helped pick up the slack a little bit and given those original bands a chance, because they keep you guys are putting out albums. Everybody James Barrett, everybody, they're putting out there's at least a new album, I'd say, every couple of weeks to a month or so. And people need a place to promote those. They need a place to do their album release show. They need a place to, reach a new audience. So it's nice to see places like that. So you guys are going to be having your album release party on Saturday, March 16th. It's 9 p.m. with an opening set by Retrovi, and admission is $5 at the door. And then you also have another one coming up. It is at the Sherman Showcase in Stroudsburg. You guys are headlining. It's a Saturday, April 27th at 8 p.m. with So Much Hope Buried. Tickets are $15 in advance or $18 at the door. Have you guys played in the Sherman Theater before?
Sherman Showcase.
Yeah. We've played Showcase, and we also did have a chance to play the big stage at Sherman, opening for Mashes to New.
For Mashes to New, that's right.
Okay.
Yep.
Another great venue. Should definitely mention. We think of Northeast PA. I think a lot of times we think just Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, but it does go. It goes to Jim Thorpe. It goes to Stroudsburg. There's all those little towns and things in between. So the Sherman Theater is definitely really helping the local music scene in a lot of ways. Not just in their area, not just even in the Poconos, but Scranton Wilkes-Barre, coming there too, and giving those bands a chance too.
Absolutely,
yeah. Big acts and stuff too. And the Sherman Showcase is cool because it's this nice little kind of intimate venue that's attached to the theater and stuff.
Yeah.
So you guys have done that one before?
Yeah.
Recently, just last year.
Okay. And what was that like?
I love, I don't know if you remember the Cafe Metropolis.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So, it felt reminiscent of that, where,
Okay.
like you were mentioning, it was a very intimate setting. You couldn't necessarily morph the audience into one thing called an audience. Mm-hmm. Everybody was clearly in your face, and each personality, each individual was there, and you were all part of something at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was just having everyone in a small space.
Yeah.
Is sometimes just so rewarding, almost as the big places.
Right.
So to see each individual reaction, you can't ignore, you could just see their faces.
Yeah, you're making eye contact with them the whole time. It's a good thing. I mean, especially if you have friends or something out there in the crowd and they know your music well, and there may be some people that don't know your music well, but they know it well enough that if you miss a note or flub a line or something like that, you can kind of make eye contact with them and chuckle.
Yeah,
and
I know.
And it's not as crushing of a defeat as like if you're in front of 6,000 people at the arena or something like that, and you miss a line in a song, and you're like,
Don't you think that's easier though?
I guess
you hit the note and you look out.
I'll let you know when we
don't
play.
see disapproval.
Next 6,000 person venue we're at, and I miss a note, I'll look over and be like, "Man, that was great."
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I'm glad I did that.
In the little places, if it's like, oh, C sharp right there, what the fuck, and you're like, I know.
Yeah, and me personally, as a music fan, I want to go to a venue and I want to have that experience. I want to be able to see the band up close. There's a lot of stuff now, like these, like baseball stadium shows, and these like huge, even arena shows to me to an extent. If I'm not close to the stage, I honestly don't want to be there, and that's just my personal opinion. I know some people, they like to kind of hang up in the rafters and do their own thing, but for me, I need that intimate experience. I need to be up close. Like, I grew up going to, places like Croc Rock and things like that, where maybe they weren't the best venue, wasn't the cleanest venue, didn't treat the bands maybe the best from what I've heard.
I would love to see the Croc Rock as an adult.
Yeah.
Every memory I have of the Croc Rock is a 16-year-old, like, wow, I'm here, guys.
Exactly. Right. I think, I would look at it now and be like, oh my God, what did I see of this?
They put our name in the letters. It's on the marquee.
I'm sure there was a lot of like pay to play type of shit, for the bands and stuff, which is
I was in a doom metal band that opened for the Misfits.
Oh wow.
God damn.
Reptilian Dream.
Reptilian Dream. Our singer dressed up in a bridal. It was like he was in a full-blown wedding dress, and I was in a suit, and then our drummer was the priest marrying us because metal, I guess. Right?
Honestly.
Anyway, here's the Misfits. God damn. Remember being young, Rich?
I do.
Not a care in the world.
The good old days, we could just have a reptilian wedding.
Yeah. We're getting married. Why? I don't know. Entertainment. $20.
You are there to entertain people. And I'll tell you what, if I walked into that show not knowing who Reptilian Dream was and saw that, I'd be like, that is awesome.
We sold a lot of CDs.
I was just reading a story the other day. There was like some metal band somewhere. It doesn't really matter. The point of the story was they brought like a pig head on the stage, like from a butcher shop, and then like threw it into the crowd, like, oh yeah, it's so cool. And then immediately afterwards, like issued one of those like band apologies that are like 10 paragraphs long of like, we really didn't think about the impact
Church Massacre
this
would like to
have on
apologize
people.
for our behavior.
We're so sorry about this.
That wasn't very Jesus-y.
I'm like, wait, what was the fucking point then?
We didn't realize.
I thought you were supposed to offend people. Like, that's the point of bringing a pig head on stage, Like,
we'll be playing a benefit for young Jennifer's medical bills.
Sorry, Peter. You struck again.
Yeah, like it's the old school meeting, the way things are done now. It's hysterical. It's just so funny.
Yeah, that'd be like Rob Zombie apologizing after one of his shows. Like, no, that's the point.
But
It's supposed to be spooky and weird and fun.
But there's if I can play devil's advocate, like if I went to any type of big show and then there was just some ghost that popped up, I'd be like, hell yeah. But then if a literal dead fucking pig hit me in the chest, I'd have
You pass it on to the next. It's the modern day beach ball. You
Absolutely
just pass
not.
it on to the next person.
I'd be like, I can't believe I gave you part of my paycheck to be hit with a carcass.
A pig head has a little more volume than a beach ball, too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think that would work out.
Depending on the weight of the person.
It actually
hit.
did get tossed around. People, of course, immediately grabbed it and threw it at other people.
Fantastic.
Just a bit, you know.
Guar walks so that band could run. You know, one of those situations. It's been going on forever.
Oh my god. Awesome.
All right, so wrapping it all up, what are your what's the once this album is out, what are the goals for the band? What's next? What do you have coming up this year? You know, have you guys thought about touring, any of that kind of stuff? You know, what's the plan?
I just more than anything, I just want people to enjoy what we've created, because it's such a process. Like, just from this entire interview, you can get a sense of how long it took for him to be in the band, me, and then he sat on these things for so long, and then all of it came together, and now we just have this thing. It all manifests there. So if you enjoy it, that's really all I'm looking for. Like, I don't need bikini solos, you know. It's fine if we don't get that.
So you're saying if it does happen, you're going to turn it down?
I'm saying it's not on the to-do list.
Sure.
Safe.
Yeah. But just speaking for myself, this is the closest thing I have to spirituality. So I don't go to church, I don't read my horoscope, I don't feel better when you turn on your Himalayan salt lamp. It's just, this is the closest I feel to something bigger than myself.
Where does he come up?
You know? I'm sorry. But so to do that, to go down into wherever you have to go and express these thoughts and then have it resonate is beautiful to me. So I would just hope that someone who watches it can resonate with them, and that's truly, I'll take that.
Okay.
You know, if we can get you there, if you can enjoy your experience with us, if we can go on our little journey together, thank you. Thank you for being a part of it.
Yeah, for the year coming up, I mean, we have some more releases coinciding with the album coming out. You know, in the age of content, you have to continuously grab people's attention. So we're, you know, with Grant commanding the ship, we're really working behind the scenes to make sure. We're really working to make sure that, you know, there's fresh content to be had throughout the year, and you know, we do have some shows booked through the end of the year at some local venues, and we're hoping to branch out a little bit more, hit the road maybe for a weekend of shows or something like that we could swing. You know, all of us working full time and doing that. Just really want people to, you know, a perfect example was at the Ritz show. We had people come up to us at the merch table, so we've been following you guys for the last year or so now. Can't wait for the new songs. Can I get a picture with you guys? Like, to me, that's it. That's the realized dream.
Yeah.
We wrote a song and someone enjoyed it enough that they want to take their picture with us. You know, it hasn't hit yet, but it will one day. Probably when I'm telling my child, like, yeah, your dad was a big deal once. Meanwhile, it was just two people really liked the song we wrote. But in my mind, it was, you know, it's exciting to do that. And with some opportunities are starting to come up where, you know, bands are touring through the area. And a trend I've been noticing is there's not really necessarily direct support like there used to be in the world of touring. It seems like it's more, okay, we're playing the Mid-Atlantic region, and here's 2 bands we're going to have play 6 shows with us, and then we're going to go to the Midwest, and there's a couple bands out there that'll jump on, and logistically, it helps out more up-and-coming artists, and it gives everybody a fair shot so that you don't necessarily have to drop your whole life and jump in a van and abandon your family for 6 months. Yeah. I'm sure everybody dreams of doing that, but it's it's one of those things we would love to see us jump on some bigger shows and get some more exposure that way. Mm-hmm. Just want to keep playing the songs in front of people. That's really it.
Pretty much.
On the last side, man, exactly what these guys said. That going forward, every time we do a show, that day before the show is a roller coaster of emotions. Mm-hmm. I'm freaking out. I'm nervous. I'm excited. I'm thrilled. I'm terrified. It's everything. And like my girlfriend sees it every time. She's like, just go through everything's going to be fine. I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. And then we do the show, and I'm like, everything was great. So
it's weird, too, because you think the typical don't forget to smell the roses when you're walking through the park type of thing. Like, Beef and I got a tremendous opportunity to get a little bit of recognition from PRS Guitars through their Pulse Artist program, and that whole program is set up to help the little musician as opposed to some of the bigger stars that they endorse, and get them some recognition that they may, I'm not going to use the word deserve, but some recognition that should be happening. And just the other day they did an artist write-up, and I for work I went to prsguitars.com and I see our faces on the front page, and I'm like, hang on. I immediately went to 10-year-old Tyler, watching the Sammy Hagar concert on the living room floor, going like, damn, like I'm on that. It was a very real moment for me, and like I was kind of bragging to my friends and family about it, but at the same time I didn't want to seem like a showboat. But I'm just like, they're one of the biggest guitar manufacturers in the entire world, and us two idiots are on the front page of it, So the support we've gotten from PRS in the last year through that program has been a huge help as well.
Yeah.
Again, people that I've never even met from different states, and even, we had a gentleman reach out to us from the UK a couple weeks ago saying, like, I don't have the means necessarily to stream music. How do I get your music? So we're going to be sending them all the CDs and stuff like that. And it's like,
they don't have Spotify in England?
Well, they do. Well, I don't think that particular person had the means to use it.
All right.
Maybe didn't have access. Maybe didn't have access to a device or something like that had.
How did he message you?
Through Facebook.
I'm saying.
He messaged the band. He didn't message me personally.
You're right. I'm sorry. Out of time.
But regardless.
Yeah.
Regardless, it's cool to get recognition from all over the place.
Yes.
Including, your friends and family.
Mm-hmm. Anywhere. Just the fact that you could be getting that from doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
That you could be essentially expressing yourself and making art. And
it's
addicting enough, too, that if we weren't getting any of this recognition, we'd still be in the practice room hashing out ideas saying, this is going to be the one. This is going to be the one.
No better feeling than sitting in a room with these guys and writing music. Well, releasing the music and other people saying it's good music.
Not one. I'll accept top 10.
Right. I love hanging out with my wife.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Yeah. You guys are going to bury me right now?
There are only 9 tops better feelings than sitting in a room with these guys making music.
Anyway, Rich.
Well, all right, let's wrap up with those questions, your comments, whatever you want to say. Oh, there's this guy, Cody. He says, hi, guys.
Hi, Cody. How's your garage?
That's his aunt's garage.
How's your car?
Cody couldn't make it tonight.
No.
Let's see. Ethan says, hey, guys.
Hi, Ethan.
Let's see. Steven Ruther says, shout out to the Holtzmann dudes, good group of guys. My band Retrovai is opening for them next week for their EP release. Oh, really?
So Steven and his production company, Ruther Productions, he did the Rose video a few years back for us, and that was a great first music video experience for me. I don't know if those guys had ever done a music video prior to that, but that was the first one I was really a part of, so that was fun. And since then, Steven's become a good friend of ours. He's done some photo shoots for us to give us promotional material, and Steven actually took the cover photo for the new album, and it's awesome to be able to have him play with us in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
I've been chatting back and forth with him about it. It's an exciting time.
Nice. see. Andrew Blank says beef. All
Beef
caps.
response.
I figure that's the best way.
Andrew. Pierogi.
Steve says, love this band.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Let's see. Cody sent us some stars on Facebook. I'm still not sure what those things do completely.
I feel like they're.
Is
that's
that
money
like
in
the
some
star
sense.
you were
Kind
trying to
of
get
like
from
money.
Bowser in Super Mario 64?
It's a little different.
Yeah, it's something like
Yeah.
that. It's
If Bowser is capitalism, then yes.
Eric says, heck yeah, boys. Shout out to Ty Baby.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eric.
It's AI Tyler.
Landy says, I play with these guys. I love their sound.
Thank you.
Thanks, Landy.
Tony said, great job.
Appreciate
let's
the
see.
love.
Ethan says, love the Holtzmann Effect. Totally unbiased opinion.
It's a little biased.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
You know,
In the
one of the few things you can be biased in
transparency, it's a
is
little
love
biased.
for a band.
Mike Bonowitz says, if Grant is hungry, feed the man.
Believe it or not, we've managed to curb the hunger. Because I barely see Grant eat when he's with us.
No?
I mean, aside from the
I didn't want to bring it up, but here we are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Again,
I will
I'm
say
learning a lot.
though, after the Ritz show had come to a close, Grant did phenomenal reconnaissance and let us know that the local Sheets had a 30-minute wait.
Yes.
I was in there when he said that.
You didn't see me because I was out of there so fucking fast and I heard the lady say it.
As we hit checkout.
Yeah.
And then you said half hour. I'm like, well, we're stuck.
Yeah. I was already.
He's like, nope, going to Route 6.
Ugh.
We haven't had a good after show. Danny's running.
No, we haven't. We're overdue.
We're due.
We're
Album
due.
release show, we're doing it.
I'm probably going to be too tired and old for that, but we'll
Buddy,
talk
Grand
about
Slamwich at 2 a.m, we're doing it. You heard it here on NEPA Scene Podcast.
That's right.
Beef's feet are now to the fire.
it. I'll do it if Grant does it.
I won't do it.
Day of show, I'm probably going to be like,
Checkmate, bro.
I don't know, man. I had work this morning. I don't know if I could do it.
Sorry, Wedge.
Anyway, so
Yeah, we're derailing.
Philip says, maybe Fatal Conception can link up with these guys in the future.
Messages.
yeah.
I messaged
absolutely.
them already when Tesseract
Never
was
mind. Don't message.
One step
us.
ahead of
It
you,
would be
Fatal
redundant.
Misconception.
So hard.
There's no misconception that I messaged you.
I think that's hard.
Bob said Breakaway is amazing.
Nice. Thanks, Bob. Thank you. Thank you.
Rick says, can't wait for the 16th of the V spot. The Holtzmann Effect is the best band in NEPA.
Damn. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
I'm not stressed more at all.
Abby said, call me biased, but these guys rule.
Thank you, honey. Is my last name attached to that? I want to make sure.
Indeed.
All right. Thank you, honey.
Diane says, hi, guys.
Hi, Mom.
Man. Oh.
I would like it to be known that, you know,
I never wanted Bikini Girl.
despite the dark conversations between my fellow bandmates here earlier on in the night, my parents make a point to try to catch every single show of ours they possibly can. I consider them the band parents, and thanks for always doing that, because you guys could totally be the parents that are like, this is the dumbest thing ever, why aren't you an accountant? And because accounting is boring,
No.
except for between the months of January and April.
Sure is.
So, thank you, parents,
Anytime, Mommy.
for being awesome.
Mr. Ryan J says, bad news. Denny's closes at midnight now.
Oh.
Eek.
Gee
So
whiz.
We're gonna Grubhub in between sets.
We are not young anymore.
Yeah, I'm not going to moons over my hammy before the last set of the night. That's not going to happen.
Man, that's tough. I'm gonna have to cook breakfast at home.
Next question. What was the next comment?
By the way, thank you, Ryan, for helping us out tonight behind the scenes. He's the guy checking the sound, making sure everything sounds good, doing the camera work, all that kind of
He
thing.
has an amazing leather jacket.
First time
You guys
doing
haven't
it.
seen it. I saw it. It's amazing.
You don't deserve to see it.
Yeah.
Ryan, is that your intel on Denny's?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
I looked that up.
I was
could've
going to
just
ruin
said
the
it.
day live.
Dude, producer Ryan is killing it right now. You just saved me a lot of time and grief.
I didn't even have to do the Joe Rogan. Hey, look that up.
Yeah.
Jamie, think about Dennis.
Jack Gretz says, this band has national potential. I said it and I own it.
Thank you, Jack, for also supplying us with quite literally every piece of equipment that we use to perform live.
Yes.
It's no secret that I work at Northeast Music Center with Jack, and I encourage any up-and-coming band that if they're looking to take the next step in their equipment to come see me and Jack, and we will get you hooked up with all the proper gear you need. And if you have the proper gear and you need it set up, we'll take care of you.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Shameless plug.
Shameless.
After hours.
Cody says we're going to have an epic release. My week has been trash.
Thank you, Cody. It really has.
Love you, Cody.
Yeah.
Tough week for Cody.
Yeah.
We're
Everyone
fighting for him.
hug Cody. after
Everyone's,
the
if you
release.
see Cody Sibio, you hug that man.
Yeah.
You hug that man.
If you show me proof that you hugged Cody at the V-Spot show,
Yeah.
I will give you some form of cool item.
Cody,
I don't know what that cool item
Everyone
is yet.
who hugs Cody gets a free wristband.
Cody also accepts shots.
No. Everyone
No,
who
he
gives
does
Cody
not.
shots gets a complaint to the Scranton Police Department.
After-
Everyone who gives Cody a hug gets a free wristband. Cut that off of the legs right the fuck
Hugs,
now.
not drugs.
All right, we'll put that flyer up one more time there. The release show is at the V Spot in Scranton on Saturday, March 16th, 9 p.m. Opening set by Retrovi. Admission is $5 at the door. And then not too long after that, about a few weeks after, the Holtzmann Effect headlines the Sherman Showcase in Stroudsburg on Saturday, April 27th at 8 p.m. with So Much Hope Buried. Tickets are $15 in advance or $18 at the door.
And I believe a third band got added to that show.
Oh, okay.
Just recently. I
Oh,
gotta
is it, Ty?
gotta
Now you're on the spot.
I gotta double
We
check.
are literally live. Who is
Hang
it?
on,
No,
everybody.
don't load. You're a bad promoter.
While we're doing that, we'll put up the... You could scan this code right now to pre-save hell.
Please pre-save on Spotify. We appreciate the love. Give us a follow so we can get on your release radar when we release new music.
And I appreciate all you guys tuning in with your questions and comments and being so attentive. You guys have... we've had a steady crowd the whole time, so I
We
greatly
all appreciate you,
that.
Rich.
Thanks
Can we
so
all
much,
turn that
Yes.
on you?
Yeah.
The fact
Thank you,
that-
Rich,
Rich,
for
we
giving
love
a
you.
crap about us and all the other local artists and musicians and talent that Scranton has to offer. We're a very talent-rich area, no pun intended. And thank you, producer Ryan, for being so on the ball
Yeah.
with the
With Dennis.
hot information.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, kind of broke my heart a little bit, but it was good information to have. You didn't break my heart, the news broke my heart.
Well, you know, speaking of which, there's a guy, Justin, said, sound has improved, good job. Well, thank you.
Justin.
So we're trying to improve that week after week, and, you know, with that comes costs. So if you want to donate to NEPA Scene, we're on, you know, Venmo, PayPal, Cash App at NEPA Scene. We're pretty easy to find. Or you know, see me at any upcoming NEPA Scene open mic events. We have T-shirts and stuff. I'm going to get those up real soon. I actually just took all the pictures for that and stuff the other day. So we'll have an online store so you can purchase our new merchandise that we have. We have new embroidered knit hats and T-shirts and all kinds of really cool stuff. So any of that, you know, goes right back into the site. And I you know, I do mean that, you know, not just the bills that we got to pay, but you know, the equipment and stuff. So each time that you see an improvement on this show, or an improvement with the open mic, for example, you know, we started using the soundboard sound at the open mic because everybody was complaining, hey, well, there's a lot of room sound and stuff, and it's like, well, okay, you could tune into all the other, you know, 5 to 6 hour open mic extravaganza. Oh wait, yeah, we're the only one that does that. But hey. All right, I'll listen to your criticism. Sure, you want better sound, so I plug into the soundboard, and then what do I get? That hum.
That's right. Let them eat cake.
That hum. So now every other comment is the hum. Oh, I can hear the hum in the background. Please stop the hum. I'm like, well, so the other last night I had so many of those comments. I linked to it on Amazon. I'm like, here's a hum. Here's a box. Here's a hum destroyer. Buy this for me, and then I'll hook that into the soundboard, and then there won't be hum anymore. You know, like, come on. I can only do so much with the equipment that we have.
Ty, as someone who works in a music store, I need you to describe a hum destroyer.
In fact, I should screw Amazon. I will go get it from Northeast Music.
Yeah,
we will destroy the hum.
Destroy the hum. Yeah. And that's actually what it was called. It was like
Hum destroyer.
Yeah.
What
I
did it
know
look like?
Electro-Harmonix has
just a little black box.
Of course.
Yeah.
It was just an input and output, an input and output.
Yeah,
That's
pixie
it.
dust.
It's like a ground loop destroyer thing. Electro-Harmonix makes a guitar hum destroyer called the Hum Debugger.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
That's for guitar, not for
Right, not for this.
Cameras.
So, see, I have no idea if that's going to work, but I'm going to try it. So all this stuff is new to me. You know, like I can only wear so many hats. You know, writer, journalist, interviewer, podcaster. You know, all that kind of stuff. When it comes to sound, when it comes to video, that kind of stuff, it's all a learning process. You know, and it's all on a small budget. So if you guys want to help out, that's great. But we do appreciate you tuning in. So like, share, do all the algorithm stuff just so that we can reach more people. And same for these guys as well. Pre-save the album. I'll put that code up on the screen again here.
If you could buy us a hum destroyer.
Yeah. Get one of those.
And if the hum destroyer doesn't work, look out for the NEPA Scene Hum Destroyer giveaway sweepstakes.
Yes.
Where all you have to do is like, share, and comment 3 friends' names on a post, and you may have a chance to win a
You
hum
too
destroyer.
can live without hum, maybe.
Our new marketing department, ladies and
Thank
gentlemen,
you.
right here.
NEPA Scene is the code, 10% off.
Yes.
And if you've seen any of these posters in downtown Scranton, please know that Grant does get them
Exclusively
from Center
City Print.
Yep. And
I wouldn't go anywhere else.
In fact, I think pretty much all the posters you see at the V Spot are from Center City.
If the printers are smart.
Yeah.
Marketing.
If the printers are smart and
Yes.
the hum is destroyed, the Earth can spin at the rate it's supposed to.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, guys.
We will we'll see you here next Wednesday for a new episode of the NEPA Scene Podcast. Until then, make sure you go out and support some local bands this weekend and coming up next weekend as well. Have a good night.
See you later. Peace.